Hi, I'm Jamal Stone.
And I'm Khalimah Gaston.
And you're watching The Cinema Couch. Welcome back to yet another episode of the Cinema Couch, behind the scenes, with our special guest, the beautiful Khalimah. Tell everybody about yourself.
Well, my name is Khalimah Gaston. I am a Queens, New York native, and I just graduated school 2 years ago now. Oh my gosh, it's been so long. From the New York Conservatory for Dramatic Arts. And I've been acting pretty much full-time for the last 6 months now. Just full-time acting, mainly doing plays around New York City, and writing and doing murder mystery dinner shows and just having a good time acting and not working. Not really working, just having fun.
Okay, great. And what are you working on right now?
As of now, I'm working on a play called Black Wall Street.
Black Wall Street? I think I have one of those flyers.
Yes, you do.
Okay.
And I'm writing also a web series about actors, since that's all I really know these days. But Black Wall Street is a play about the 1921 Oklahoma, Tulsa riots, and it's a very unknown story, which kind of made me want to really do the show more. When I first auditioned for it back in the summer, I thought, oh, this is going to be funny. Black Wall Street. Just hearing the name, you automatically think, okay, Wall Street, just with black people. Or just something silly. And so I read for it and I thought, this has nothing to do with what I thought it was for. And then after I got the part, I found out more about it, and they said that it was actually a story of African-American people who lived in a town in Tulsa, Oklahoma, back when it was a territory, before it was actually a state. It was given to us by the government. It was set aside for African-Americans, Native Americans, and Jewish people. All the outcasts, so to speak.
Okay.
And it was supposed to be theirs because we weren't wanted anywhere else. And at that time, we settled there, made our own name for ourselves and what have you, and then they became a state in 1907. And then these people were actually really wealthy and successful in the town, and they just started booming and making their own businesses and being so wealthy and so respected within their own community that they kind of never had any type of economic downfall. So while the rest of the world was going through, well, you know, economic depressions and all kind of other problems with not finding oil anymore, not finding gold, they were kind of still pretty rich. They had over 600 businesses. Everyone owned and operated their own stuff in this town, and it just really worked for this town of Native Americans, Jewish, and mainly African Americans. However, jealousy always rears its ugly head, and at the time, you know, and I'm sure just like now, the KKK was very prominent, and they came on over into the town and invaded. And this is actually the third time in America, which you could not find, that there was a U.S. bombing on our own territory, on our own people. And it's not really well known, and it's also the third time martial law was put into place. But when you look it up, they'll tell you it's only the Revolutionary War and World War I. But that's not the case, because martial law was declared on Memorial Day in 1921 in this town. And these people were put into detention camps, and they were placed aside and just put to just be on hold for 18 months while they were supposed to be redoing this town for them, and they never did. They never got reparations. They were never, you know, given back the money to rebuild. And to this day, Tulsa, Oklahoma still is kind of stuck in a nostalgic place of not knowing how to move forward because of what happened to the town. And what's funny or heartbreaking is that only one person was given reparations. A white guy who owned a gun store.
Oh, wow.
Because it was broken into, and they used his guns to bomb and invade this town. And he was the only person to get reparations. It's truly sad. And at the same time, I think, had this been something that's taught in our history books or while we were in school, it's a place to know that we did overcome slavery. You kind of never hear that we actually did overcome slavery, and we did, a short period after, and yet that's overlooked, and yet that's not ever spoken about. And I honestly didn't know anything about it at the time until I got the part, and then I kept doing more research. We were given DVDs and documentaries, and it was so heartbreaking to know the story. And the playwright, she lives in Dallas, and she has a lot of family there, and she did a lot of research, and she did a lot of working on it, and she still does. We get updates every week on new material to add in. So we've been workshopping this play for the last 3 months, and now at LIU coming this weekend will be our first actual production, full production, and not just a workshop, because this is our final script. But the playwright is making it into a musical.
Wow.
Of course.
Okay, of course.
But it all started with a young man named Diamond Dick Rowland, as he called himself. He was a shoe shine boy.
Okay.
And he had this interaction with this young white girl who was an elevator girl. And he tripped one day into an elevator and accidentally touched her. And ever since then, it was just an excuse used to kill him and lynch him. And there had never been a lynching at this time in this town. And they really wanted to lynch him. So they invaded the town and they tried to get him to kill him, but instead they ended up burning down the whole town in a 12-hour time period and killing over 3,000 people. There were 4 newspapers in this town. Till this day, you cannot find any newspaper articles on what happened. There's one clip in the Tulsa Sun, and that was it.
Wow.
But there were so many at the time, and yet you can't find any now.
You can't find any. I want to see this play. That's all I gotta say. I mean, it sounds really deep.
It is.
All right, well, thank you so much for coming to our show.
Thank
you.
you.
And be looking out for Khalimah. I'm sure she'll be back on the show. Okay? Thanks for watching, guys. As always, you can hit us up at thecinemacouch.com for links to all our social media.
And if you'd like to be a guest on the show like moi, you can send an email to thecinemacouch@gmail.com.
Thanks. Bye.